Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fitri Afika. I'm from to be class English department. My register number is 2001121004. I would like to presentation about my radio broadcasting midterm. Describe 5 characteristics of radio. The first is auditory. Radio is sound. Therefore, radio is a hearing medium to be listened to because only sound can be conveyed on the radio. Whatever you want to convey on the radio must be in the form of sound or voice. In general, the sound that appears on the radio or broadcast on the radio is of two kinds: music and word. And second, theater of mind. With words and sound effects, radio or broadcasters can make a picture in the listener's mind, make a picture in people's mind, make listeners imagine the figures of something, people, markets, malls, riots, demonstration, book, works, etc. And third, first and direct. Radio is the first medium faster than newspapers or television in conveying information to the public without going through a complicated and time-consuming process such as a TV broadcast or print media presentation. Only by telephone, radio reporters can directly deliver news or report on the event in the field. And for familiar, radio is a medium that is familiar with its owner. You rarely sit in a group listening to the radio, but usually listen to it alone, like in the car, in the kitchen, in the bedroom, and so on. And the fifth, personal. Radio becomes a friend because it's able to touch the listener's personality. The announcer voice is present in the house or near the listener. The conversation directly touch the personal aspect, interpersonal communication with a personal approach, so that become a loyal personal friend. What is radio segmentation and states its types? Segmentation is the process of grouping listeners into more homogeneous psychographic sociographic boxes. And the type of radio segmentation. The first is youth radio. In accordance with the characteristic as a youth radio, this type of radio segmentation is aged 15 until 25 years. Usually, youth radio often present programs with contemporary format. For example, when events for teenagers, ngulik lifestyle, to life around the love of monkey. Adult radio. It is called adult radio because the music played in the programs presented are suitable for adult consumption. For example, the playback of songs around the 16 until the playback of songs around the 16 until 19, the playback of the song become the hallmark of adult radio show. Radio religion. The programs on radio religion are usually about religious studies, religious dialogues, to music format featuring Middle Eastern song. And news radio. It is called news radio because the content of the program is 18% dominated by news. One example of the many news radio is Radio El Shinta, Radio RRI, and Radio Trijaya. The broadcast style on news radio is the same as broadcast on news TV. There are reports that are read that broadcasters. Music playback is just a distraction, usually no more than two four songs. Two two four songs. Radio dangdut or one of the radio that is consistently only in the dangdut music line, one of which can be found on Radio Cosmo, so that in the impression of dangdut and populists. The style of dangdut radio broadcast is deliberately made bluntly. Apart from Radio Cosmo, there is also special radio to the world of the dangdut. One of them is Radio Suara, Radio El Ganga, Radio Antasalam. Another characteristic of dangdut radio is the use of regional accents. Explain the meaning of the code of ethics and law and give examples of the code of ethics and radio broadcasting law. The radio broadcasting codes of ethics must be observed and implemented by all radio station crew, including in the broadcast program production process. Broadcasting ethics and broadcast science are listed in the Law Number 32 of 2002 concerning broadcast. Government Regulation Number 50 of 2005 concerning the implementation of private broadcasting institution. Indonesian Broadcasting Commission or KPI program standards. Thus, every radio person must read all the laws and regulations in order to know, understand, and comply with the code of ethics and the provision contained therein. Undang-Undang Number 32/2002 even includes administrative and criminal sanctions that must be known and obeyed by every radio and television station. Mention and explain the basic of radio programming. Basic radio programming. A. In order for the elements of broadcast management to be prepared and organized to be relevant, useful, and attractive to listeners and advertisers. B. Placing all elements of broadcast management at the right size. C. Increase broadcast performance targets to the maximum with effective results. D. Existing settings targets objectively and with measurable methods. E. Assist in the preparation of the radio business planning in the most appropriate approach. There are three broadcast skills or announcing skills that must be possessed to become a good broadcaster, namely vocal techniques, air personality, and visualization. Try to explain each of these skills. The first is vocal technique. Vocal technique means the technique of producing sounds or making a sound, speaking well, pleasing to the ear, clear, and beautiful tunable. Vocal technique will produce the best sound. Element of vocal technique: articulation, clarity of letters or words, breathing including setting the pause of per sentence, accentuation, stressing certain words and sentences, intonation, tone of speech, phrasing, beheading sentences, tempo, speed, space, pacing, constant step or beat in speech, inflection, change in tone of voice. Second, air personality. Personality in the air, namely attitude and speaking style according to the radio format, program format, and broadcast style, cheerful, serious, or humorous. Enter visualization. visualization imagining the listeners as a close friend and in front of the broadcast table so as to create a warm and intimate atmosphere. Make one new script each and broadcast script in English. And this the example of new script. And that's all about my presentation. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.